Hey guys, welcome. I hope you enjoy this story. Please like and subscribe.
News Chapter 1, The Wrong Turn. The year was 2004, and I was fresh out of my quiet country town, a 17-year-old girl swallowed whole by the bustling, unforgiving city. My college dorm felt like a safe harbor, but the world outside its walls was a storm I wasn't prepared for. That night, a late-night study group turned into an impromptu party, and by 1:30 a.m., I decided to walk back to my dorm. What a naive, stupid decision. I figured the 2-mile walk would be a good way to clear my head, a chance to absorb the city's energy. Instead of sticking to the well-lit main streets, I took what I thought was a shortcut through a neighborhood I didn't recognize. The streetlights here were mostly shattered, leaving the blocks in a murky, yellowish gloom. The air was thick with the smell of stale garbage and something else, a heavy, grimy scent of neglect. Loud, angry voices echoed from inside the dilapidated row houses, and every shadow seemed to hold a new threat. It was a place I wouldn't have wanted to be in broad daylight, let alone in the dead of night. My stomach twisted with a gnawing sense of unease, but I pressed on, trying to project a confidence I didn't feel. That's when I heard it, the low, menacing rumble of an engine behind me. I didn't dare turn around, but my pace quickened. The car's engine note changed, slowing down until it was keeping perfect pace. With my hurried steps, the sound was like a hunter's footfalls. I finally risked a glance over my shoulder, and my heart seized in my chest. There were 5 men inside, their faces obscured by the shadows, but I could feel their eyes on me. Their car, a rusted-out sedan, was a hulking metal beast, and they were its predators. A cold, paralyzing fear began to crawl up my spine. Chapter 2. A moment of terror. As they continued to creep along behind me, the terror intensified. It wasn't a quick fear, but a slow, excruciating burn that crept through my veins, chilling me from the inside out. My mind raced, frantically trying to come up with a plan. Any plan. Should I yell? Scream for help? But the street was deserted, and the houses were silent, save for the muffled arguments within. Every nerve ending in my body was screaming at me to run, but my legs felt like lead. They were playing with me, toying with their prey. The silence in their car was more terrifying than any shouts could have been. I was approaching a cross-section, my legs burning with a desperate need to run, when the car suddenly pulled ahead. I felt a surge of brief, foolish relief, thinking they had lost interest, but they didn't speed away. They made a sharp left turn and stopped, their car a metal barricade, directly in my path. My brief moment of hope evaporated, replaced by a cold, numbing dread. The engine was still running, a low, predatory purr. The headlights, though dim, cast a long, grotesque shadow of the car and the men within, a shadow that stretched out like a claw to grab me. I was trapped. I stood there, frozen, my mind completely blank. It didn't even occur to me to try to run. I knew they would have caught me instantly. The first man in the passenger seat opened his door, and his foot hit the cracked pavement. His slow, deliberate movements were a silent promise of the horror to come. My body shook with an uncontrollable tremor. This was it. This was how my story ended. Alone in the dark, on a grimy street. I closed my eyes, bracing for the inevitable, a silent plea on my unexpected rescue. Just as the man's door creaked open, a sudden blinding light snapped on, the porch light of the house directly behind their car. A door creaked open, and a man casually stepped outside, a bag of trash in his hand. He wasn't big or imposing, just a regular guy in a t-shirt and sweats. But in that moment, he was my guardian angel. He saw the car, he saw me, and he saw the men who were about to do something terrible. He didn't say a word, just stood there. His presence, a silent challenge. The men in the car hesitated for a moment. Then, with a screech of tires and a roar of their engine, they peeled away, vanishing into the night. I collapsed onto the sidewalk, shaking uncontrollably, tears streaming down my face. The man, my unexpected savior, came over and helped me to my feet. My story came out in a jumbled mess of sobs and incoherent words, but he listened patiently. He took me inside, where his roommate, equally concerned, appeared. They were both comedians, a fact that seemed impossibly surreal, given the circumstances. They gave me a soda to calm my nerves, and after I had composed myself, they walked me all the way back to my dorm. They were two of the kindest people I had ever met, and they invited me to their next stand-up show. I never saw them again. I was too young to get into the bar, and after that night, I never had the courage to go back to that part of the city. I often wonder what my life would have been like if that man hadn't decided to take his trash out at 1 a.m. on a Saturday. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be here to tell this story. Chapter 4, The Aftermath. Back in my dorm room, the relief was so profound, it was almost another kind of pain. I sat on my bed, the shaky soda can still in my hand, and the reality of what had almost happened finally hit me. The casual kindness of those two strangers felt like a miracle. They didn't ask for anything, didn't make me feel stupid for getting lost, and didn't lecture me. They just saw a person in trouble and helped. My roommate, awakened by my return, found me sitting in the dark, still trembling. I told her the whole story in a whisper, and she just hugged me tight, not saying a word. The next few days were a blur. I was terrified to leave the dorm after dark, and every car that slowed on the street below sent a jolt of panic through me. The city, which had once felt so full of possibility, now felt like a lurking beast. The memory of those men's faces, or the lack thereof, was a phantom that haunted my sleep. I couldn't stop thinking about the what-ifs. What if the porch light had been broken? What if the guy had decided to take his trash out in the morning? What if they had been more determined? The endless loop of these questions was exhausting. I started carrying pepper spray and a personal alarm, but they felt like small, flimsy protections against the sheer malice I had felt that night. Chapter 5, A New Perspective. The experience changed me. The naive country girl I had been was gone, replaced by someone more cautious, more aware of the dangers lurking beneath the surface of urban life. I stopped seeing the city as a playground and started seeing it for what it was, a complex, unpredictable place with both beauty and darkness. I became more observant of my surroundings, more attuned to my intuition, and less likely to trust a shortcut. I never did go see the comedians. The fear was too fresh, and the thought of returning to that neighborhood, even in daylight, was unbearable. But I never forgot their kindness. It was a stark reminder that even in the darkest, grimiest corners of the world, there are people who will step into the light to help a stranger. That night, I didn't just escape a dangerous situation. I also learned a profound lesson about the unexpected human connection that can save a life. It was a terrifying, life-altering experience, but in a strange way, it was also a gift. It taught me to be more careful, more resilient, and to appreciate the small acts of kindness that can make all the difference. My story didn't end that night. It truly began.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like the video for more.